What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How y'all doing? Making a nice quick video with regards to the PS4 players that shall be joining us this coming week with the the full release of the PS4 version of World of Tanks. And I just thought I'd give my 2 cents with regards to the tech trees, what I've experienced grinding out my tier 10s, and what my opinions are on these tanks, because there's going to be a lot of PS4 players out there wondering, okay, which tier 10 should I go for, which tier 10 should I grind towards, what's the easiest line, what's the toughest line, which line is interesting, which line is that, and all of that good stuff. So basically what you need to know, I'm not sure what nationalities the PS4 is going to get. There's rumors that it's going to be the Americans and the Germans and the British and the Ruskies, possibly, maybe. I'm not sure, but let's chit chat a little bit about the lines that I've kind of worked on, that I've played through. Pardon me, I just had lunch and I'm burping. Each nationality has its own set of characteristics when it comes to the tanks. They're kind of not 100% similar to each individual nation, but they do share certain traits, kind of thing. But anyhow, British tanks. British tanks, basically it's all about the gun. It's all about the gun. On attack with the British lines. They get these fabulous, beautiful guns, very, very accurate, really decent penetration, pretty good, I say, for the most part, aim time and all that good stuff. But that's bottom line. What it's there's a lot of quirky guns that really kind of shouldn't be on particular tanks. For instance, the Carnarvon comes to mind. It kind of gets a medium gun, but for the most part, with the British tanks, they're big, they're bulky, somewhat ugly, and but the guns are really decent. The penetration is really good, the accuracy is really good, and yeah, definitely a nationality to consider when it comes to grinding, 100%. Because with me personally, when it comes to my tanks, the tanks that I most favor, that I most enjoy playing, basically, bottom line, it's if I like the gun, I like the tank, basically. And no matter what the tank is, if I like the gun, if I get decent amount of penetration, decent amount of accuracy, I'll like it, bottom line. Germans, with the Germans, it's about the armor. It's about the accuracy, I would say. Alpha power, alpha damage. But more so it's about armor, everything you do expect from the Germans. Precision and accuracy, armor, in your face kind of traits and characteristics, and it's pretty much the most fleshed out tech tree, when it comes to nationalities. Out of all the, you can see there's a whole bunch of tier 10s. We'll get into each and every tank line, kind of thing. Ruskies are about inaccuracy, raw firepower, in your face armor, but definitely, I don't want to say dumb and stupid. I don't want to insult anybody out there, absolutely 100%, but it's just about getting smacked in the face with a whole bunch of damage, brute force, but not necessarily any kind of finesse behind it, not necessarily any kind of precision behind it, and but it's about raw firepower. It's about tanks on battlefields duking it out, and that's what the Soviets are about, pretty much in a nutshell. When it comes to the Americans are just good tanks, good all-rounders, you know, really decent at everything. None of them kind of stand out, I would say, in any particular way, but for the most part they're just decent, reliable machines for the most part, I would say. And if you play them well, you'll kind of be rewarded. There's some quirky, crazy tanks in there, absolutely, but for the most part, you know, they're just decent machines. You know, they shine, but they don't, you know, blind your eyes, so to speak. Japanese, quick little, not little, I would say. The guns are decent. I'd say it's about speed. It's about no armor. It's about you do get one autoloader. I think it's the Chiri, and it's about mobility, basically, with these tanks. Quick reload, not that great accuracy, not that great aim time. Basically, that's the Japanese in a nutshell. Chinese, pretty much the same as the Soviets, but no gun depression. And if you're new to World of Tanks, that means point your gun downwards. And you might think, well, what's the big deal? Do I need to point my gun downwards? Trust me, gun depression is really, really important. With the Chinese, it's very similar to the Soviets. It's about raw firepower. A lot of the medium tanks have like heavy tank guns, etc., etc. But a lot of people love these tanks, absolutely. With the French, it's all about no armor, very weak armor, very mobile tanks, quick moving tanks, and autoloaders. You know, the autoloaders are basically tanks that have, you guys have mostly played them at tier 1, where you have 6 shells in the chamber and you unload, poof, 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 and then you go for a reload. You have to reload those 5-6 shells, and it takes a god awful amount of time, you know, 20, 30, 40 seconds, whatever it may be. But that's pretty much the Frenchies in a nutshell. And we're back to the British. Okay, so when we're looking at the Brits, which tanks kind of shine in the beginning, tiers 1 to 5, I would say the Electo is a fantastic little beast. Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely. A quick little nimble tank, but very weak, very vulnerable. Has this big massive derpy gun that you can get, which can one-shot a whole bunch of tanks. Matilda, very nice little tank. Very, very slow, but it's got the very nice armor and quick firing gun, you know, just path, 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 path. Going up to tier 5, Churchill's pretty decent. 82, nice armor, a lot of bouncing there. Crusader, nothing much to speak of. So it's pretty much, you know, when it comes to tiers 1 to 5, 2 tanks to kind of look out for, Electo and Matilda, when it comes to the Brits. When it comes to the Germans, a lot of German tanks, ton of German tanks. What can I say? Going up to tier 5, the Marder 2 is a very nice TD, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. What else do we have? I'm looking. Where's the NA? I can't even find it. Oh, I don't know. I can't even find it. But anyways, Stug, fantastic TD. Hetzer, fantastic TD. Oh, there's the NA. This is a fantastic little machine. A ton of fun. Everything else under Lux. Lux, very easy tank to get. Only at tier 4. This is an epic tank. This is a fantastic tank. This is a Beautiful, beautiful machine. Leopard, not bad. VK 30.01, not a bad tank. Nah. Panzer Syphilis at tier 5. This tank is amazing, amazing. It's I think it's 200, just below 200 penetration. Yeah, 194 at tier 5. It can just melt through anything. Whatever it hits, it's gonna blow up. But as you can see, it's big, it's bulky, it's ugly, it doesn't. Once it gets lit up, it's dead within 2 seconds. Yes, pretty decent tanks here with the Germans. With the Soviets, I don't know. Absolutely, Su-85, beautiful machine. KV-1S, KV-1, you know, these are all beautiful machines. T-28, not bad. A-20, BT-7, these are nice tanks to have, absolutely. The Soviet TDs are all very nice, you know, pretty decent tanks, absolutely. Let's move on with the Americanas. A lot of pretty decent tanks here. Let's have a look. The Stuarts, I can't remember which one of these. I've never played these. Either one or both of them are kind of legendary, you know, even though I've never actually played in them. But they're like quick little fast fun tanks, absolutely. T40's not bad. Going up to tier 5. T1 heavy, nice little machine. M4, not bad. Wolverine and T67, very nice tanks to play in, absolutely. Pretty decent TDs. The Chaffee is legendary, absolutely legendary. I haven't played in it for a while. I believe it's been nerfed and tweaked and this and that. But I've still got a buttload of games played in this tank. But like I said, I'm not sure what they've done with it. I think they nerfed it and then they unnerfed it. I haven't got a clue. Japanese, these tanks are just a pain in the butt. You know, seriously, they're just a pain in the butt. Nothing more, nothing less. The Chinu's not bad. You know, it's okay. It's very similar to the premium tank, the Chinukai. Basically, it's not bad. It's pretty reliable. Chinese, I don't have that much experience with the Chinese, so I think I played 5 and 6. I'm not sure, but no comment. You know what's good, what's decent. With the Frenchies, really decent penetration when it comes to, you know, the heavies. I've yet to kind of, I've unlocked up to tier 5, but I've yet to when it comes to the TDs and the heavies, I yet to play any of these tanks. I don't intend to. Basically, I free speed to tier 5, which is what I normally do, and then I grind all the way till tier 10. These tanks leading to going down this line, this basically is the medium line. These tanks are a pain in the butt. You know, these tanks are a pain in the butt, 100%. The Hotchkiss 35 is pretty decent, has really good armor, and you can have a lot of fun with that tank where people just bounce off you. But truth be told, you know, these tanks, for the most part, they're just a pain in the butt. They're very slow, cumbersome, heavily armored. The first highlight of the line here is the AMX ELC. It's a fantastic, beautiful, very, very unique tank. Absolutely. And yes, and we're back to the Brits. So if we take a look, tiers 6 to 10, with the medium tanks, they're all very memorable. You know, the Cromwell was from tier 6 onwards. The Cromwell was fantastic. You know, it is an epic, wonderful machine. You know, and I'll never forget playing in it. I think I still have it. Oh, pardon me, I've sold it. But that's because I purchased the Knight, you know, the premium version of the Cromwell, and the Comet I recently repurchased. That is a fantastic, beautiful machine. These tanks were all really, really decent. You know, the Centurion 1, the Centurion 7-1. I really want to repurchase these tanks. Leading to the FV4 202, this tank is, I think it's going to be replaced by another tier 10 British medium. The TD line is pretty much the same all the way through. You know, quick firing guns, heavily armored, slow TDs, leading to the Taurus. And you think, okay, so what's the tier 10 version of the Taurus going to be? It's this thing, which is completely unique and bizarre compared to all the other tanks previously. You know, it's completely, because it would, like, for instance, the medium line is like an evolution leading to the FV4 202. With these tanks, it's just like when it hits tier 10, it's like, woo, where'd this tank come from? This tank, of course, is the Death Star. It is legendary. The heavies, the heavy line is pretty decent, I would say. The tier 6 and the tier 7 are very, very slow, but really well armored, and if you angle your tank, you're going to get a buttload of bounces. The first epic tank in this line, in my personal opinion, is the Carnarvon, which is a beautiful machine, followed by the Conqueror, which is an even more beautiful machine. And then you're kind of presented with a tank that is very similar in appearance to the Death Star. And so far, yeah, I'm kind of on the fence with this tank. You know, it has a fantastic gun. There's no denying that, and a fantastic reload speed. But so definitely, you know, the British lines are a fun grind. Absolutely, 100%. Really, really decent tanks that you can pick up and collect. The second British TD line I've yet to experience. This has only just recently been introduced. When it comes to the Germans, tier 6 onwards, you can see what's going on here. You know, you get this toaster-like looking thing, and it's very similar at tier 6, and it's very similar at tier 7. The first memorable TD kind of in this line is the Borsig, which is absolutely fantastic, epic machine, and pretty much has the same guns as the tier 9 version. They're kind of, you know, apples and pears, very similar, these two tanks, the tier 8, tier 9. At the same time, they're kind of different in appearance, but very similar when it comes to the guns. And of course, it leads to the almighty Waffenträger RV100. This tank is well known for both good reasons and bad reasons. It's just an overpowered beast of a machine. A lot of people kind of grind for this tank as their first tier 10. The second German TD line is, as you can see, the J line, basically the J Panther, Jagdtiger, and it leads to the Jagdpanzer E100. These are big. They're very similar looking. Some of them are well armored, some of them are not, but they're well sloped and this and that. The guns are really decent, pretty accurate, and as you can see, I'm about to unlock the Jagdtiger and then move on to the Jagdpanzer. And the Jagdpanzer E100 is just this big, massive bus of a tank, and heavily armored with a big, massive gun. And yeah, the grind for these tanks has been pretty decent, I would say. I've enjoyed most of the tanks. Starting from tier 5, yeah, a lot of well-known tanks in this line, absolutely. two German heavy lines, one leading to the mouse, one leading to the E100, and they're very, very different lines in my opinion. The mouse line, the tanks in the mouse line are very kind of forgettable. You're not going to be keeping a lot of the tanks in the mouse line. The mouse on its own is a fantastic, beautiful machine in my personal opinion. It's the biggest tank in the game. It has the most amount of hit points. It's, you know, it doesn't have a fantastic gun, but it's pretty decent, and I just love it. I love it to bits. I recently unlocked the thing. E100 line. E100 was my very first tier 10, and you know, I chose well because it's a fantastic first tier 10. It is a ton of fun to play with. It's like the little brother of the mouse, even though there's nothing little about it. It is a fantastic tank to have in your arsenal, and there are some great tanks, you know, leading to the E100. You know, the E75, the Tiger 2, the Tiger 1. You know, it's just fantastic, epic tanks, absolutely. The two German medium lines are, as you can see, the E50M and the Leopard 1, and very, very, very different tanks. You know, but both of them are mediums, absolutely. But one line, the E50M, it's all about armor and angles and bouncing. Nice guns, accurate guns, 100%. Same thing with the Leopard, nice guns, accurate, nice penetration, accuracy. But this one, with the E50M, it's not about the mobility, it's not about speed. With the Leopard 1, it is about mobility, it is about speed, but they don't have any armor, you know, these tanks. Yeah, so there's kind of two key differences. This one's heavily armored, this one isn't. This one isn't that fast, this one is. You know, it's a kind of trade-off, and it's kind of two different play styles basically. A lot of fantastic tanks in these two lines, you know, E50, Leopard PTA, Indian Panzer, Panther 2, a lot of fantastic tanks in these lines, absolutely, very memorable. The Soviets, oh, the Soviets are just a ton of fun to play, absolutely, 100%, and it's totally up to you and which one you want to go for. But it's just, when I think of these tanks, I just think about raw firepower, just being smacked in the face with a shell. Object 268. Between these two TDs, of course, I have this one. The popular choice is this one, 100%, and you can see why. You know, it's an unbelievable beast of a machine, very quick, very nicely angled at the front, you know, and it's most probably going to be my next tier 10 TD. We'll see. Object 263, really nice gun, really quick reload, decent armor, decent mobility. The grind was, I liked it a lot, you know, really very, very different compared to the grind towards the Object 268. The tanks leading to the 268 are kind of slow, heavily armored things, whilst the tanks leading to the 263 are kind of much smaller in size, and it's all about camo remaining hidden, and smaller guns as well. The Soviet mediums are just you know, they're kind of, in my opinion, I don't know, a lot of people argue that they're the best mediums in the game. You know, that's kind of open for debate because they're kind of very, very unique. They sport very, very unique guns compared to the other mediums from all the other countries. You know, they're kind of unique tanks on their own, and not taking anything away from them because they are fantastic. You know, and I've unlocked two of them, as you can see, and I absolutely adore these two tanks. Yet to unlock the Object 430. So as you can see, The Soviets do indeed have 3 mediums and a lot of great tanks leading to the tier 10 mediums. And the Soviet heavies, I mean, I've yet to unlock these, but I know what they're all about, you know. Armor, raw firepower, you know, smack in the face, etc, etc. A lot of friggin' fantastic tanks between tier 6 and tier 10. KV2 is a fantastic machine. It is a ton of fun, and it has this derp cannon that can just go around one-shotting people like crazy. It is so much fun, absolutely. KV85, decent tank. MT25, decent tank, you know. A lot of really, you can see I'm kind of staying away from artillery. I've yet to experience artillery. Have no plans on playing in artillery. We'll see, you know, one day. KV3, decent tank. KV4, decent tank. IS3, decent tank. You know, all these tanks, they're really decent. You know, T44, I liked it. This tank here, T54, is a beautiful machine. It's just a beautiful, sublime machine. It really is. And brings us back to the Americanas. Did we do? Yeah, okay. Tier 6 up. You get the Epic Hellcat and the Jackson. 2 fantastic TDs with the Hellcat beating the Jackson easy peasy. Absolutely fantastic TD. These 2 tank lines, kind of TD lines, lead to the E3 and the E4 basically. Very kind of similar looking. And whereas the E4 gets a rotating turret, not all the way, not 360, but 90 degrees one way, 90 degrees the other, the E3 does not. And to compensate for that, it's heavily armored at the front basically. A lot of decent little TDs leading to these two tanks. I've yet to experience the T28 prototype, which I've heard is agonizingly slow. T30 is a very decent machine, 750 alpha. T28 I skipped entirely because I heard a lot of bad things about that tank, but I did get to play the T95, which I absolutely loved. And pretty much this tank has the nickname the Tortoise, because, you know, that's what it is. It's a tortoise. It plods along really slowly and fires a big old gun. Not bad tanks. T25-2. I didn't play the T25AT. What else? The American medium line is a very decent line, and oddly enough, it kind of doesn't kick in till tier 8. The T20 is a tiny little thing, more so a light tank than a medium. Easy 8, fantastic tank. Jumbo Sherman, fantastic tank. But it kind of kicks into high gear with the Pershing, the American mediums. And the Pershing is a great all-rounder, not particularly fantastic at anything, just pretty good at everything, but not fantastic at everything. M46 Pattern is an epic tank, a beautiful tank. M48 Pattern is also, I love this tank. It's my 3rd tier 10, I think. When it comes to the heavies, Jumbo Sherman leads to the T29. The T29 is legendary, absolutely legendary. Must be one of the best tier 7s out there. Leads to the T32, beautiful tank, absolutely beautiful tank. Smaller in size to the T29, but hull down, basically, it's just a ton of fun to play. M103 also fantastic machine, leading to the even more fantastic E5. Great machines to play, absolutely. And of course we have an auto loading line with the Americanas, and it kind of starts with the T71 at tier 7. You know, that's the very first autoloader. This is a tiny little scout tank with an autoloader gun, you know, pretty much. Moves on to the T69 and the E1, basically. And you can see scout tank, medium, and then you get a heavy. And these two kind of tanks are basically smaller versions of the T57 and that lower tiers, you know, pretty much in a nutshell. That's what they are. But they are what they are, you know. They're autoloaders. Autoloaders are synonymous with bad accuracy, bad aim time. But it's an autoloader, you know. There's got to be a trade-off. There's got to be a balancing factor, and that's what it is. But decent tanks, you know, not fantastic penetration. Like I said, not fantastic accuracy, not fantastic aim time. But that's not what you're there for. You're there to, while your teammates are kind of dueling with someone, you kind of pop out from behind a corner, unload a clip, and then run away. Leading to the T57, which is like a heavy extreme version of these tanks, basically. And if you like that sort of thing, you'll love this line, you know, it's totally up to you. And we have a light line here, recently introduced. I've yet to experience these tanks, so it's totally up to you. Tier 6 onwards, Japanesey. Pretty much, like I said, these tanks are very, very similar. The tier 5, the tier 6, the tier 7. Chiri does get an autoloader. They kind of start branching out, becoming unique at tier 8 with the STA1. And I love these tanks. I absolutely love these tanks. I kind of had a love-hate relationship with the Type 61, but the STB1, one of my most favorite tier 10s, easily. Love that thing. Chinese can't really comment. And we're back to the Brits. Oh, pardon me. We're back. We're on the French. And with the French, it's pretty much, it's like I said, autoloaders. Lightly armored, very quick, very nimble. That's the French, pretty much in a nutshell. The TDs, I don't think they get autoloaders till the actual tier 10. You know, but they're quick, they're nimble, weakly armored, put out a whole bunch of firepower, and then kind of scuttle away. With the heavies, really decent penetration, weakly armored though, autoloading beasts. 50B has developed a bit of a reputation, and for being a very, very decent tank. With the mediums, they're all tiny little scout tanks, basically. Tier 6, tier 7, tier 8. And then it kind of hits tier 9, and you get a medium, a crazy, off the wall, you know, totally different tank from all these previous tanks, and totally different from the actual tier 10, you know, the Lorraine 40T. Once you get there, but you're kind of rewarded with the Batchat 25T, which is easily, I'd say, the most fun tank at tier 10. It is just a ton of fun to play. It's small, it's nimble, it's quick, it's got an auto-loading gun. It's a ton of fun. So that's it, in a nutshell, that's it. It's totally up to you. My game, on the top right, you can see my game has finally downloaded. It's totally up to you what you want to get, what you want to aim for. You know, there's some decent tanks in these tech trees. There's some total lemons in these tech trees. Feel free to ask any questions if you wish to do so. Yeah, welcome to this epic game. Prepare your wallet. But in a lot of cases, you know, actually talking about that, be careful when it comes to spending your money. in the World of Tanks. You know, don't go overboard like I so often do. There's a lot of players out there that haven't spent a single penny. You know, there really is, and they have my respect for that, 100%, because I'm the complete opposite. Take it easy, guys. Adios, muchachos. I'll see you on the battlefield.